West Africa has a long and interesting history. Many great empires and kingdoms grew and then faded away there. Let's talk about the Hausa Kingdoms. They were powerful from the 1200s to the 1800s. The Hausa Kingdoms were in what we now call northern Nigeria and southern Niger. These kingdoms were super important in shaping West Africa's history and culture. They became a major power, controlling important trade routes across the Sahara Desert. This spot made it easy to trade between North and West Africa, making the Hausa Kingdoms rich and important. The Hausa people were great farmers. They built smart systems for watering their crops. This meant they could grow lots of sorghum, millet, and cotton. They ate some of these crops and traded the rest, making them even richer. The Hausa Kingdoms were actually 7 different states. They were called the Hausa Bakwai. These 7 states were Biram, Daura, Kano, Katsina, Gobir, Rano, and Zaria. Each state had its own ruler, called a sarki. These rulers were in charge of the land and the people. Historians still discuss how the Hausa Kingdoms began. Stories say they were started by Bayajidda. He was a prince from Baghdad who traveled to the area. He married the queen of Daura and started the Daura line of rulers. Slowly, the Hausa Kingdoms became more powerful. The Hausa people developed their own strong identity and culture. They all spoke the same language, Hausa. It's part of the Afro-Asiatic language family. This shared language and culture helped unite the different Hausa states. It gave the people a sense of belonging. The Hausa Kingdoms became major trade centers. Cities like Kano and Katsina brought in traders from all over. These traders came from North Africa, the Middle East, and other parts of West Africa. All this trade led to impressive markets and trading posts in Hausa cities. These cities became places where different cultures and ideas mixed. Trading goods also meant trading knowledge and traditions. This made the Hausa Kingdoms even more interesting. The Hausa people were also skilled artists. They were famous for their cloth, leather, and metal work. Hausa weavers made beautiful fabrics that everyone wanted. Their leather saddles and bags were known for being really well made. Islam came to the Hausa Kingdoms through trade with North Africa. Muslim traders and scholars brought their religion with them. Slowly, the rulers of the Hausa states became Muslims. This changed Hausa society, culture, and government in big ways. Islamic laws became part of Hausa law. Mosques were built in the major cities. These mosques were places for prayer, learning, and community gatherings. Islamic scholars started schools called madrasas. In these schools they taught about Islamic beliefs, law, and history. Becoming Muslim created stronger connections between the Hausa Kingdoms and other Islamic areas. Hausa scholars traveled to North Africa and the Middle East to learn. They came home with new ideas which made Hausa scholarship richer and created a special Hausa Islamic tradition. The Hausa Kingdoms faced tough times in the 1800s. Fighting within the kingdoms and pressure from outside made them weaker. The Fulani Jihad, led by Usman Dan Fodio, led to the Hausa states being taken over in the early 1800s. The Fulani then created the Sokoto Caliphate, which included the Hausa Kingdoms. Even though they weren't as powerful, the Hausa Kingdoms left a lasting impact. The Hausa language became a major language in West Africa. Millions of people still speak it today. Hausa culture, with its music, art, and stories, continued to be important. The Hausa Kingdoms were a big part of the trade across the Sahara Desert. They connected North and West Africa for many years. Their cities, like Kano, remained important trading centers. The Hausa Kingdoms show how dynamic and rich West African history is. They left a mark that won't be forgotten.